Hey there, Andrea, pharmacist. Okay, today I wanted to talk about all of the anxiety that I see in people, that I hear about. Over the years, I've seen more and more, and a lot of young people, but not just young people, being prescribed medication. Again, it's like they create the problem: death, destruction, nuclear, and then they have the solution. And a lot of people are on the serotonin reuptake inhibitors. That would be your Paxil, your Prozac, your Lexapro, the antidepressants. And I would even have people say, I'm not sure why I was prescribed this, because I'm not depressed. So I noticed that you didn't have to be depressed. I would say, did you go in there saying you were anxious? Yes. Did you go in there and say you couldn't sleep? Yes. So it was like they wanted, in my opinion, it's my theory, I feel like they wanted as many people on those as possible because they were very heavily prescribed. And not just for depression, but for all the anxiety that they caused. With the ticker and the, stand 6 feet apart, Why 6? Did anyone ever? Why not 7 feet or 5 feet? I never stood on their circles, but anyway, I digress. So I see all these people on these pills. And then I remember distinctly a little college student, little anxious guy, went on those, and I asked him, are these helping you? And he says, and this is very telling, he says, no, I still feel anxious, I just don't care anymore. And I've never been on those pills, but it's almost like, this is my theory, this is the kind of stuff I think about after all I've learned. When this rolled around and you got a lot of people on those pills, especially young people, able-bodied young people, and now they don't care. So along with everything else and the toxins, they don't care. So they just, whatever. Sure. Do you see what I'm saying? I always wondered about that. So, when I say a lot of this is being caused by them, I'm talking the media, the news, you got to turn it off. I know from personal experience what that fear, and it's not just the fear mongering. During this, there was a lot of fear mongering, because when you are in fear and panic and anxiety, you don't make good decisions. But it's also, I'm going to tell you what happened to me, how powerful to your mind the news, the media, how it affects you mentally and even physically. It was September 11th, 2001. And we all know what happened. I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. And my husband and I are watching this. And do you remember? It was 24/7, all the stories. I was texting my husband. He said there were people on the plane, and Billy Bob and Joey and then Betty Sue. I mean, everybody's family, and they're crying. And it was filling me with so much agony and sorrow. And I had these two little kids, so I couldn't just start crying and release it. That I started to physically feel it. I was getting chest pains, like a dull ache. And then I could feel it in my back, in between my shoulder blades. And it was like this heavy, heavy, dull ache. And it was affecting me physically from the news. And so I went to work one day, and I worked in a 1 day a week at a outpatient pharmacy at a hospital. I'm working and I'm not even thinking about the 24/7 videos. I don't know why I don't know why I didn't turn it off. You're just story after story. So I'm working, and my heart began to beat out of my chest. I could feel it pounding in my head. I thought I was having a heart attack. So I went to the emergency room, and my pulse was like 220. It was just beating out of my chest. And they said I had some sort of panic anxiety attack. And I literally was doing nothing except working. And I never have stuff like that happen to me. I've never. But I knew what caused it. So I turned off the TV, and I started watching things full of hope, peace, and joy. It literally took this away, and it was gone. So that's how much watching this kind of stuff can affect you mentally. And or you go to the pharmacy for your prescription of what the doctor gave you for, what they caused. So, anyway, I don't know. I just felt like, I don't know. Anyway, this is what I do now. That was years ago. And I didn't pray like I did after this. Because if you're not praying, I don't know how you're making it. My sister gave me the best book. It's like it's by Sarah Young, and it's called Jesus Calling. And it's just a little snippet each day with a little scripture. And it's so inspiring. And it's just basically learning to lean on the Lord every single day, all day. I am literally walking around asking for advice and talking to Lord help me all day long. And that's where I get a lot of tips. Things just pop into my mind. Like, oh, I never thought of that. It just literally, it's just helped me so much. Given me so much peace and encouragement. And when I deal with worry, that's what I deal with. I just ask God to take it. I can't deal with it. Lift it. And it literally goes away. So it helps me immensely. I do drink tea. I'm a tea drinker. There are specific teas for anxiety and for calming you down after you've turned off the TV. And even on BitChute, I've noticed, I'm not so sure about YouTube because they block a lot of things on there. But on BitChute, it's like death, destruction, nuclear war, blah. And after a while, I just quit watching videos. And that's why I started making my own. Because I'm ready for spreading some love, hope, peace, and joy, and moving forward, because these people are not going to get what they wanted. So that's what I'm all about. Okay, the tea. There's chamomile and there's peppermint. Both of those help with anxiety. Passion fruit is another tea I don't know that I've ever seen it in the grocery store. You may have to buy it online, but it helps with both sleep and anxiety. Natural way to calm you down. And there are, if you were prescribed something like a serotonin reuptake inhibitor, and you can't just stop those. If you've been thinking about, I used to have people ask me, how do I get off of those? It's a slow taper. Like if you're on Zoloft, for instance, it's scored. You can break it in half, do half of the pill for a week or two, and then go to a quarter of a pill, and then you have to taper off of it. If you're on something like Prozac or fluoxetine's the generic, it's a capsule, so you have to go down to the next lower strength. Or break the capsule open and split it up. And it's the same thing. You can do that. You just can't break sustained release pills. You can't break those unless they have a score in the middle. If there's a score, it's meant to be broken. But I can't think of any of those sustained release serotonin reuptake inhibitors. I don't think any of them have a score, so that I can remember. But there's also, there is an antihistamine that's probably your least amount of side effects, because with those serotonin reuptake inhibitors, they're affecting hormones. I'm going to do a whole video on men's health. Those serotonin reuptake inhibitors lower testosterone, and they affect female hormones too. So that's not a good thing. They can affect fertility, sperm count, stuff like that. So if you're wanting just something, I don't even know if there's any side effects. There's hydroxyzine. It's just an antihistamine. It's a prescription, and it is used for anxiety as needed. And it is very effective. I see a lot of younger people on that. And so if you want to get away from going on the, if you're only being prescribed a serotonin reuptake inhibitor because of anxiety, hydroxyzine might be an alternative. It might be all you need. So, and it's pretty safe. So, just to get you through. And then try the tea. But anyway, hopefully that helps a little bit on what I have learned personally and what helps me. And we're going to be all right. Everything's going to be okay. This was really good. This is what I remember all the time. Something that happened, I believe it was last summer, sitting by my pool, laying on a little towel with my husband. We're getting our vitamin D. And again, I'm praying. I'm just praying, oh Lord. I think it was after he had his tumor removed, and he's wearing his little colostomy bag. He had to wear that for about 6 months. Bless his heart. And I'm like, Lord, just tell me everything's going to be okay. And I hear, and this is for everybody, I say this all day long. I hear in my head, read your towel. And I'm like, I am laying on a towel I'd have had for maybe 25 years. And it's kind of faded. I didn't even realize it said anything. I mean, I probably knew it at the time when I bought it, but completely forgot. I stand up and I look at my towel, and it literally says, don't worry, everything is going to be amazing. So every time I'm getting stressed out, I say, Andrea, don't worry, everything's going to be amazing. And I think that can apply to every good person. A message for all of us, everyone. Just say that. Don't worry, everything's going to be amazing. So anyway, that's my spiel on dealing with anxiety. I hope that helps.